as one of the only two senators sitting on both the Armed Services Committee in the Senate and the Intelligence Committee, I had serious concerns with the provisions dealing with detainees in detention during the Senate's consideration of the NDAA last year. And as Ranking Member Smith said, the major problem has been with Sections 1021 and 1022 of the NDAA, which could be interpreted to allow the indefinite detention of citizens and non-citizens without trial. And while this administration has said it won't hold American citizens or lawful permanent residents in military custody, that is the interpretation of just this president. As Congressman Smith said, that policy won't tie the hands of future administrations. So my bottom line is that I continue to believe that the NDAA detention provisions weaken our national security and our constitutional protections. I'm committed to finding a way to strike these provisions and these elements in the law, and I believe that the language we've crafted for this bill addresses the concerns I've heard from many Coloradans. I'm sure you've heard, Adam, from people at home as well. And we've also heard increasingly from our colleagues in both chambers that they share our concerns. I want to second the points raised by Ranking Member Smith about the success rate in civilian courts versus military commissions. And additionally, I believe that the U.S. military should be focused on getting the bad guys overseas, not getting involved with law enforcement here on U.S. soil. The requirement that the military, not law enforcement, take suspected terrorists into custody threatens to undo much of the progress that the FBI and law enforcement has made to stop terrorist plotting in the United States and overseas. And it would seem to make it difficult or impossible to collaborate to gather intelligence on domestic terror cells at all. And I want to point out that the administration, in its official statement of opposition to the NDAA detention provisions, said, quote, "We have spent 10 years since September 11, 2001, breaking down the walls between intelligence, military, and law enforcement professionals. Congress should not now rebuild those walls and unnecessarily make the job of preventing terrorist attacks more difficult." If you think about the life sentence for the underwear bomber Abdul Muttalib, it's just one recent example of the critical role that law enforcement plays in our national security. And the last thing we should do is be preventing local, state, and federal authorities from investigating and then acting on threats to our safety. As always, Ranking Member Smith did an excellent job describing what the bill does. So let me just say this. There are American citizens who have collaborated with our enemies and participated in attacks against our soldiers and our civilians. Those traitors should be dealt with, but even in our darkest hours, we must ensure that our Constitution prevails. And our Constitution, I believe, is in many ways the most powerful weapon we have against those who mean to do us harm. We can't afford to erode our liberties. In the end, that would leave us to even more at risk. Our bill would prevent the erosion of our civil liberties, and it would strengthen our national security. So again, Congressman Smith, it's great to work with you, and I look forward to ensuring that our Constitution endures and that we set aside these provisions. However well-intentioned, I think they're misguided.